What is some hard to swallow pills about relationships? Losing your identity within a relationship is easy to do. Finding it again isn't. Remember to keep your friends and hobbies. After my last relationship ended, I felt guilty for not hurting. I was kind of happy. Back in my garage, working on cars with my friends. Took a few road trips. My phone was quiet. Shit was cool. You were up. I didn't even realize it, but I used to paint a lot. During my 7-year relationship, I didn't create a single thing, and in the 6 months since it ended I've completed 10 pieces. You could do everything right and still lose. That is not a weakness. That's life. Putting off ending things for fear of hurting someone's feelings is the worst possible idea. If the relationship isn't right and you don't want to be together, then sparing someone's feelings in the short term only leads to more pain later down the line. Be honest and front the horrible conversation. This is something I am struggling with right now. They are a great person, and I don't want to hurt them. But I think my feelings have changed. It makes me sad and a little sick to my stomach to even think about hurting her. I mean, what you said is not so different from love, as in caring for the other. Try asking yourself what changed and how our feelings are not so stable and vary drastically depending on a number of things that often do not involve the question in hand. The point in doing this is to be sure of what the issue is. Is the problem something about her? About another person, like falling in love with someone else? Or is the issue in the dynamics of the relationship? Or even in yourself? Then, you can either explain everything to her or break up. Maybe you both can overcome this together. Maybe it is better to go separate ways. However, doing things that will hurt both of you based only on a perception of your abstract feelings will only cause you to regret rushing an important decision, even if it ends up being the right one. Eventually, love is not being crazy in love all the time. Love is a crock pot, not a deep fryer. At a certain point, you have to accept some particular negative parts of your partner's personality or move on. My husband is almost 50. We have been married for over 20 years. While he will continue to experience personal growth, there are parts of his personality that are likely to not ever change. The same is true for myself. Of course, in a good marriage, it helps to be a little deaf. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Just because you love someone does not mean you should be with them. A relationship needs more than love. A person I know really needs to hear this. They insisted too much on being in something with me. When I told them that it was not going to work, we wanted opposite types of relationships, that in the end it all ended pretty bad. Some people just think that love is going to make things magically work, without even considering that sometimes people that love each other are just incompatible to be together. You cannot look for someone else to be your other half. You have to learn how to be a whole person on your own. This means being able to take care of your own emotional needs. 2. Underrated comment here. You cannot be responsible for someone else's happiness. My wife and I enhance each other's joy. Example. She loves going to concerts and often my schedule means I cannot go, or occasionally the tickets are expensive and it is someone I'm not a big fan of, so she goes without me. But if I can, I go, and if the tickets are cheap, even if I'm not a fan, I go. She likes it when I'm there and says it is better, but she still has fun without me. In a good relationship, you help lessen the bad and increase the good. I so deeply hope that one day I can have a relationship with someone like you and your wife have. I'm lucky. I knew her for years and had a crush on her, but she was married. Guy is a total ass. We got together right after she left him. I was 27 and she was 30 with 2 kids. We had one extreme rough spot for a year, but other than that it has been great. I always say I will take the worst day with her over the best day without her. Still takes work, and the bad year was partly because I was arrogant and thought I had it all figured out. I did not and still do not, but I have got a handle on a lot of it. Strangely, I did kind of given up. I did only ever had one serious relationship that was pretty bad and a couple of non-starters, and for some reason thought I did just never find anyone. Looking back, I was an idiot. I spent too much time worrying for nothing. Just be patient and do not obsess over finding it. Just be ready for when it happens and live your life. They are not going to magically know you are upset with them. They are not going to read your passive aggressive signs. They are not going to pick up on that. Be direct. If you are upset, talk to your partner about it. Not your friends. Not your parents. Not strangers on the internet. Your partner. Not communicating can lead to rifts that never seal. Not communicating leads to posting on our relationship advice and hoping a bunch of internet strangers can either solve your problem or tell you what you want to hear without having to just go talk to your partner. Because that is scary and might not maintain the idea that you are fine and the other person is the source of your problems. I feel attacked. It takes two to be in a relationship. If one person is putting in all the effort and the other is not, it is eventually all going to fall apart when the one who is giving the effort stops. Great relationships are mutual. Is this supposed to be a hard pill to swallow? Some people think they are so wonderful that they do not need to put in any effort. I definitely did not give back the effort my ex put in. If I had, things would have 100% gone differently. He was amazing and I never took the time to care for him or our relationship. It was 8 years. So for me, when it ended, that realization was hard to swallow. Your partner should be kind to you and vice versa. It is not okay for your partner to scream at you, or curse you out or deliberately hurt your feelings. This is not to say that it never ever happens. We all are human and occasionally we mess up. But if they are not consistently kind to you, if they are not sorry when they are mean, and if they repeat it, then that is a problem. If you would not accept the behavior from a friend, then you absolutely should not accept it from a partner. The idea that it is normal for your partner to be mean to you is so freaking bad, and I have seen way too many people accept crappy relationships because they think love means never having to say sorry and that getting screamed at is acceptable. If you would not accept the behavior from a friend, then you absolutely should not accept it from a partner. I think that is a very good rule of thumb. Just because it is a romantic relationship should not mean you have to put up with abusive behavior. Not everyone will value your relationship like you do. It is very important to make sure you both have the same expectations and values, otherwise, like two unequally yoked animals, you will continue to walk in circles over the same ground. People keep changing as their life goes on, and there are no guarantees that you and your partner will change in compatible ways. Someone can be your soulmate today, but in a year the person they have become may not be the soulmate of the person you have become. While you should not simply give up on a relationship the moment you hit a rough patch, you also should not let a happy past keep you in a miserable present. Works for close friendships as well. Well put. Cutting off some of my oldest friends because of what they have become was the hardest thing to do, but I noticeably felt better mentally after no longer having them in my life. It is tough, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I got kicked out of a friend group because I wasn't sufficiently toxic. I was becoming less negative and they were becoming more negative. Better for me in the long run, but at the time I was like, damn. Love isn't everything. At least not love as most people interpret it. I wouldn't even say it necessarily takes work. Two people can love each other deeply while being terrible for each other, treating each other poorly, etc. All the love in the world doesn't compensate for lack of growth. If both people aren't growing and evolving over time, if the relationship doesn't foster growth and security, then love simply is irrelevant. It should go without saying, but you should always be on the same team. Never adversarial. Love is not merely a feeling. It is a dedication. It means caring about something more than yourself. And that is how it can persist even in the face of spite and strife. If you only stick around when it is easy, that is not love. That is convenience. Once you get beyond the initial lust heart fluttery part of a romantic relationship, you begin to realize that love looks a lot different than the rom-com movies. It is not embracing in the pouring rain, kissing under the Eiffel Tower, trying to board the plane to convince them not to go. It is handing them a box of Cheez-Its when they get home from a 12-hour shift and are too exhausted to move. It is driving them to the airport at 3 AM for their dream job interview. It is managing their prescriptions when they get too sick to do it themselves. Relationships are often unglamorous, and while a committed relationship can be very rewarding, there is more to it than you and your hot partner canoodling and going on trips for the rest of your lives. Relationships can take a lot of work. Some of it that you will never see coming in the early days. I have been with my husband 9 years. Married for 4. I'm at a point where rom-com relationships do not even look desirable to me. LOL. They are too crazy and over the top. Lots of people are actually looking for contradictions in relationships. As Bo Burnham put it, you want someone insanely hot, but not someone obsessed with their looks. You want someone sensitive but not weak. A lot of people want someone who would not use them for anything, but who they can use themselves to fulfill their own needs or desires. I think the worst part of growing up for me has been the utter realization that lots of people want to use who they can to fit their own ends. It is not exactly always malicious, just practical. You grow more sensible as you age, and so you are less willing to tolerate relationships of any kind where you do not derive some sort of benefit. The result for me has been that I'm less trusting and more guarded, which only hinders finding genuine connections in love or friendship. I love that you just cited Bo Burnham. Am I even wrong though? Not at all. Relationships do not have an instruction manual. Relationships are whatever the people involved want it to be. Sometimes what your so wants is drastically different than what you want. No matter how much you love each other, you might not get past the differences. Sometimes you will be abusive without being aware of it. If someone is gonna cheat, there is no stopping them by checking their phone, messages, where they go, or whatever. They are gonna cheat regardless. This is true for a lot of things. My past toxic ex would give me the silent treatment as punishment. I would go nuts. Beg him to talk to me. Message and message and message. I would check social media to see if he was online, and stress out when he had take longer than usual to respond. But I was mistaken for thinking that me obsessing over it would make him talk to me. Your obsession will not make them stop abusing you. Your obsession will not make them stop mistreating you. Your obsession will not make them respect or love you. You have to learn to take things as they are, and if they are bad, to be willing to leave them behind. When you look at someone with rose-colored glasses, or the red flags just look like flags, it is easy to dismiss toxic characteristics because of love. Sometimes you would not get that clarity until you are a safe distance away. Surprised the BoJack Horseman quote was so far down. If it endangers your mental health, it is not worth it. Ugh, thank you so much. I was going through this thread feeling so guilty all over again for things falling apart, but I was falling apart trying to keep it together. Thank you. Everybody has a past life, history, things you may not like. It's easy to love all of their great experiences, but it can be challenging to accept some of their past life that disturbs you, or you worry may be a problem still. A very challenging part of relationships is getting out of your head on who they used to be and focus more on who they are now and how they make you feel. This also, do not pry too much in their past if they are not comfortable to share it at the moment. Some people need time to open up about themselves. At the same time, be careful of people that never talk anything about their past.